Right. So if you open my computer C drive, you don't see C windows, you can see. Okay. Installer you cannot see. Installer folder you cannot see. Okay. So
Yes,
the
yes.
shortcut is you have to directly open like this only. Okay. See Windows installer. If you type now, you can see. Okay. So
Okay,
in installer folder will be hidden mode. You cannot see installer here. Okay. You
okay,
cannot
okay.
open the path physically, but the way is you have to type this path directly in your run. Then you can open C
Okay.
Windows installer. Okay.
Okay, and then we do a search for that MSI file, right? That's
That
all.
see, you cannot do a search. Once you go down, you can see all are MSI files only. MSA and
Okay,
MSP files only. These files, especially these files. Small
okay.
computer is there, right? So all are
Yeah.
MSA files only. You can see here MSA Windows installer package files and all. Okay, all are MSA and MSP files only.
Okay,
Right. For server also you can see like that. This is my local laptop. Okay, if you go to the server, you can see like that.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me start the server. But you cannot see installer folder. Okay, it will be in hidden mode. Right. So any other questions? So in the last class, what we have discussed about the security, anyone remember that concept about the security? What we have discussed yesterday? How Windows authentication will work, how SQL authentication will work. Anyone having any doubts in the security mechanism, guys? When you select Windows authentication, why it won't ask username and password? So what is the basic criteria if any person has to connect to SQL Server? What is the basic criteria? In how many ways he can connect, and what is the minimum prerequisite if he want to connect to SQL Server? Can anyone tell me the answer for this? In how many ways a person can connect to the SQL Server? Yes, can you hear me? Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's okay. So in how many ways a person can connect to SQL Server? Okay, two ways. What are those two ways, Anil?
Windows.
Through Windows Authentication Board
Windows
and SQL
authentication,
Server Authentication.
SQL Server authentication. Okay, so one
Yeah.
is Windows authentication and the second one is SQL Server authentication. So what is the
Yes.
minimum requirement in if anyone wants to connect to SQL Server? What should be the minimum requirement? What should be there if any person has to connect to the SQL Server?
Proper SSL administration.
Sorry, I can't hear you guys. You people are talking too slow. I don't know whether it is because of confident issue or I don't know. People are talking too slow. Talk it little bit louder, guys. I can't hear you. Tell me now. Yes, credential. Is credential enough, Jayesh? Only
Required
credential?
permission.
Ah, that's okay. Permissions, that's
Access.
fine. Okay. Access means what? What is meant by access?
Logins.
Logins.
Internet
Okay.
access.
That person. What is that? Internet.
Logins.
Someone said internet access, something like that. That is different thing. Okay. Don't think. Of course, internet will help you. Okay. I don't I don't want to deny your statement, but internet will help you to connect to the servers. Okay, so if internet is there, that doesn't mean you can connect to the servers, right? You should have a login in the SQL server. You should have an entry in the SQL server. Agree? You should have an entry in the SQL server. Then only those who are there in the logins list, only those people can connect to the SQL server, right? So this is the main thing. The logins list is the main thing. Those who are there in the logins list, only those people can connect to my SQL server. Okay, other people cannot connect. Even though you can enter into the Windows machine, okay, you cannot connect. What is the minimum requirement? A login should be created for you in the SQL server, then only you can connect to the SQL server. Until then you cannot connect, guys. Okay, so clear? Any issues, any doubts here in these two statements?
No, sir.
Done. Okay, right, let me connect to the server now. 1.5. Okay, so today we'll discuss about a login and a user. Okay, how actually you are going to enter it. Till now we just discussed it. Till yesterday we just discussed how we have entered into the SQL server. Okay, once you enter into the SQL server, what we are going to do, guys, right? We have to access any database, right? That means I have to connect to the database. Okay, 1 minute, guys. Right, so once it was connected to the SQL server, once any person is connected to the SQL server, why he is going to connect to the SQL server? Either to, okay, for inserting the data or updating the data or deleting the data or retrieving the data, right? Any of the statements he is going to run. So if he has to run, if he has to run a select query, if he has to run an insert query, if he has to run an update query, he has to select one database, right? Means every login should have an access on a database, right? If you want to access some tables, means tables will be there in the database, so you cannot touch tables until you don't have access to the database. You cannot touch the tables, guys. Usually where the tables will be there in the databases. Okay, so if you have access to the database, then only you can access the tables. So if you have access to the database, that doesn't mean that you can access all the tables. Again, see, the thing is, the main point is we can restrict the access in each level. We can restrict the access in server level, we can restrict the access in database level, we can restrict the access in record level also. If I have an access to server, that doesn't mean I can access the databases. If I have an access to the databases, that doesn't mean I can access the tables. Okay, so each level I have to give access. If I want to give, if I want to access the table, or if Ravi wants to access the tables, I have to give permissions to Ravi, then only he is able to access the tables. If he wants to access the databases, I have to give access to Ravi, then only he is able to access the databases. So we can restrict the security in each level. We can restrict at server level, so that he can't enter into the server. Even though he entered into the server, we can restrict him into the database level, so that he can't jump inside the database. Even though he just entered into the databases, we can restrict him to not reading the tables or writing the tables or updating the tables. Okay, we can restrict the access at any level, guys, in the SQL server. Okay, so if I want to read the table, I should have access to the server, I should have access to the databases, I should have access to the table, guys. Clear? Is it clear, guys? Right, chalo. So let me show you, okay, how actually a login will access the table. Okay, let me show you the way. So now imagine this is my Windows server. Imagine this is my Windows server. Okay, listen carefully, guys. And okay, so let's go with one SQL server, or what we can do, the best thing is let's go like this. Okay, so this is my SQL server. Imagine this is my SQL server. Okay, done. This is my Windows server and this is my SQL server. Inside Windows server I have a SQL server, right? just 1 minute. Right, okay, done. So let me go for one database here. Listen carefully, it's very simple guys, nothing is there to break your heads and all, very simple, okay. So this is your database, this is your database, and imagine just I'm just adding 3 databases here, okay. Chalo, right. So here user, okay. So as of now user or login both are same. Now within 5 to 10 minutes you will get an idea what is the difference between user and login. As of now user or login, that's okay, you can understand like both are same, okay. So let's try to add this person, okay. So imagine, yeah guys, 1 minute. Okay, so imagine he's, okay, let's go with any person from our batch, Vinod, okay. Imagine he's a Vinod, okay. Imagine this person is Vinod and he wants to connect to the SQL server, okay. So here if he wants to connect to the SQL server, this is SQL server, right? In the SQL server we'll have a logins list, right? Agree? So let me draw one more small thing, okay, right. Chalo, let me keep this here. Okay, so who can connect to my SQL server guys? Let me name this as a logins, okay. This is my logins list, okay. Who are there in the logins list? Only those people can connect to my SQL server, right? So let me keep him in the logins list, okay. This is Vinod and okay, just created a login for Vinod guys, just created a login for Vinod, okay. Vinod, right. So now until, see, Vinod can enter in 2 ways guys, Vinod can enter in 2 ways, okay. One way is using Windows authentication, okay. One way is using Windows authentication. So the person with key is Windows authentication, imagine, okay. The person with key is, or else SQL login don't ask password, right? So this is Windows login don't ask password, right. So this is your Windows login, and a person with yellow key is a SQL login guys. While connecting to the SQL server, it will ask password, right? So imagine a person with yellow key is a SQL login and without key is a Windows login guys, just differentiate like that. So this is a Windows login, right? If this person, if this Vinod has to connect to this SQL server, first of all I have to create a login for Vinod, then only then only Vinod can enter into the SQL server. Now as of now Vinod just entered into the SQL server. As this is a Windows login, when I can create a Windows login, there is a prerequisite guys, listen carefully. For creating Windows login, okay, for creating Windows login, there is a prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? Windows user should be there. So now you, after completing this class, you will came to know the differences between a login, a database user, and server user, okay. So you can came to know the differences between all these three. Listen carefully guys, it's very simple, okay. So if I want to create a login for Vinod can enter into the SQL server in two ways. One way is Windows authentication. If Vinod wants to use Windows authentication concept, I have to create a Windows login for Vinod. If I want to create a Windows login for Vinod, okay, when I can create a Windows level user should be there. First of all, Windows level user should be there. Okay, that means I have to create a Windows user for Vinod first, then only Vinod I can create Windows login in the SQL server. In the SQL server I can create Windows login for Vinod. When I can create, first of all I should have Windows user, then only I can create Windows login for Vinod in the SQL server, guys. Okay, is this point clear, everyone? Please let me know, guys. Is it clear, everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, done. This is a Windows login, right? Without key is a Windows login, with key is a SQL login. We'll give password, right? So that's why with key is a SQL login. Imagine like that. So that means this is a Windows machine. Let me rename this as a Windows machine. Windows server. This is my Windows server. So I have to create, as discussed, I have to create a Windows user for Vinod in the Windows server first of all. Okay, in the Windows server. Okay, this is a Win user. I'm just giving the name as a Win user. As of now, listen it, guys. I mean, like, the same structure will apply. As of now, this is fine. Just to understand purpose, I'm creating Windows user. But in the organization, guys, we don't create Windows users, individual users in the Windows server. Why? I'll tell you. Imagine Windows is a developer. So Windows wants to connect to the SQL server, or Windows is some other team, or from SQL DBA team. Imagine Windows. Yeah, I mean, this Vinod is from SQL DBA team. So if Windows, I mean, like, if Vinod wants to log into this Windows server, forget about SQL server as of now. If Vinod wants to connect to the Windows server, there should be a user, guys. So what is the live example, guys? While turning on your laptop, you are inserting one password, right? Agree? After turning on your laptop, you are inserting a password. For whom, guys, you are inserting password? For whom you are inserting password or pin?
User.
For user means 90% it will show your name only, right? If the laptop belongs to you, it will show your name. Agree? Right? Say for example, if I go to my Windows button, there I can see, okay, this person. Who is this? Hemant. Right? So when I turn on my laptop, it will ask the password of Hemant. I'll give the pin or password, anything. For Windows 10 usually we'll call it as a pin. Okay, earlier for Windows 7 and all, it's a password. So when I turn on my laptop, I will enter the pin. Pin for what? Means you want to enter into the laptop. When you can enter into the laptop, an account should be created in the laptop for you, then only you can enter. Right? Imagine, guys, anyone observed? So without Hemant, I cannot enter into this laptop. If Hemant is not there, I cannot enter into the laptop. As Hemant is there, for Hemant there is a pin. So when I enter that particular pin, that's why I am able to log into this laptop. Is this clear, everyone? That we are all doing this step every day morning to attend the classes. Is this clear, guys? Whenever you are logging into the laptop, you are going to give one pin. That pin is your account or your friend's account or your relative's account, anything might be. But the thing is that account should be there in the Windows server. Without having that account, I cannot provide the pin or password, guys. In the same way, if Vinod wants to connect to this Windows server, an account should be there for Vinod. Then only Vinod can enter into the Windows server. Like Vinod, I have 20 DBAs in my company. Means I have to create 20 accounts to access the single server, guys. Agree? Imagine you are accessing your laptop. Okay, let me check whether I can show you that LUS or MGR. It won't show, but in the Windows 10 machine, Right. Okay. So let me go to user section. Done guys. Okay. So what you can see, open your laptop and just open the run. Everyone can do this now. Type lusrmgr.msc guys. lusrmgr.msc. You can type now guys. Please type it and let me know the result. Type lusrmgr.msc in the run. Okay, hit enter. Lusr means L means local, USR means user, MGR means manager. Okay, local user manager means all the logins list, those who can access my laptop, all the users list you can find here guys. Click just OK or hit enter. Now you can see two options, two folders. One is user section, second one is group section. Go to user section guys. Can you see Hemant here? As Hemant is there in this list, that's why while turning on the laptop I'm able to give pin for Hemant, and once the OS validates I gave the correct pin, then only it is allowing Hemant to log in into this laptop guys. Agree? Is this clear for everyone? Guys, is it clear?
Yes.
The same concept will be applied to SQL Server. Okay, those who are there in the logins list, they only can connect to my SQL Server. In the same way, in the Windows Server, those who are there in the users list, these people only can access my laptop. As of now, only Hemant is there, so I can access my laptop with only Hemant account. Even my name also not there. And guys, can you please check your names whether it is there or not? Please, anyone connected from laptop, all are connected from mobile phones. I see lot of people are using mobile phones to access the to connect to the classes, guys. It's not a good way. You cannot concentrate if you are using mobile phone. That's okay. That's your wish, no problem. But guys, tell me, guys, those who are connected from laptop, can you check your account is there or not? Anyone?
Yes.
Anyone? Your account is
Yes.
there,
Yes.
right? By mistake,
Yes.
if I remove this account, okay, if I remove this account or delete this account, next day onwards I cannot connect to my laptop. Why? Because all other accounts are in disabled state, right? If you see the down arrow means disabled state, that you cannot connect. For Hemant there is no down arrow, means it is in enabled state. And if you right click on it, you will get an access. You will get a option to, if you go to the properties, you will get an option to enable, guys. Okay, so here if you see Hemant account is enabled, so that's why I'm able to, okay, I'm able to log into this laptop using Hemant credentials. For you also same thing, your account is there in the luser mgr under user section, so who are all there now, you can see who other people are there in your laptop user section. Okay, all the people in this users list can access your laptop, guys, if they remember the password. Okay, so now if I want to give access, or if one of my friend wants to log into to this machine, I can do two things. One is I have to share my password, Hemant password, so that he can log into this machine using Hemant account, or I have to create a one account for my friend, then he can use his own name, his own password while connecting to this laptop, guys. Agree? Everyone, is it clear, guys? Everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, done. Okay, so here also the same concept will apply. If Vinod wants to connect to the Windows server, there should be an account for Vinod. Windows user should be created for Vinod. Okay, for Vinod, I have to create a Windows user in the Windows machine. I can create it, no issues. There is no problem at all. I can create it. But 20 DBS are there in my team. Of course, I cannot create one account. Hey, 20 DBS, use this Vinod account to log into the server. Vinod is going to agree for that. If any of these 20 DBS deleted any SQL Server objects like databases, tables, and all, it will be tracked on Vinod's name. So, is Vinod is okay to share his username and password with others? Not okay. So everyone, we have to create an account for every person. So if 20 DBS are there, I have to create 20 accounts here. Okay, I have to create 20 accounts. So like this, I have to create 20 accounts. Imagine I have 100 servers, guys. My DBA team size is 20 people and I have 100 servers. How many users I have to create? Each server I have to create 20 users. Okay, Like that 100 servers are there. How many users I can create? If all these 20 people wants to access to 100 servers, how many users I have to create?
20 users.
For one machine, it's a 20 users. For 100 machines, how many
100 into
users?
20.
100 into 20. How much?
So
2000.
1000.
2000 users I have to create for 100 machines. Imagine if I am managing 20,000 servers. Imagine if I am managing 1000 servers. 1000 into 20, 20,000 users I have to
20,000.
create, which is not at all good. So that's why, yeah, 20,000 users I have to create. Is that, can we create 20,000 users? And what is the challenge? If Vinod is resigned from the organization, he left the organization to another company, okay, then I have to remove Vinod. This Vinod will be there in all 1000 servers. I have to remove Vinod from all 1000 servers, which is a very headache process. So we don't encourage like that. We will have a extra setup called Active Directory. So I'll explain about the Active Directory. There is a separate class on the Active Directory. So Vinod can be a member of, okay, Active Directory, or Vinod can be a member of, okay, your particular Windows machine. So forget about this Active Directory as of now. Okay, don't think about this Active Directory. Okay, so when I can create a user, guys, okay, so listen carefully. Okay, if I created a Windows user in the Active Directory, I can directly create, no need to create any user in the Windows level again. I can directly create a Windows login. This is one step. If you don't understand this step, forget about, no issues. Or I can create a Windows login in my machine, Control Z, in the Windows server. Okay, I can create a Windows login in the Windows server directly, and I can create Windows login for him. In two ways I can create login for Vinod, guys. One is Active Directory, from Active Directory. Second one is from your particular Windows machine, guys. Is it clear? Any doubts, any issues as of now? Clear, guys? Everyone,
Yes, sir.
right? So either I can use this method, or I can use Windows method. As of now, forget about AD. There is a separate class on AD, Active Directory. I will explain. Okay, forget about AD. So we'll follow this method as of now. Okay, this only thing is, as you will have multiple accounts, right? Multiple accounts, multiple servers will be there. So it is headache to create the multiple users in multiple servers. It is headache to remove the multiple users in multiple servers. Active Directory will help you in that. So either I can create user in the Active Directory level, or I can create user in the Windows server level. Please reconnect, guys. It is showing 1 minute.